Part 1, I showed how we've been lied to about the true nature of nuclear weapons, and explained how they are often used to symbolize blackmail scandals going public. If you haven't seen that video, you should pause here and go watch it first. In this video, I will delve into greater detail on what nukes represent, and explain what events the nukes dropped on Japan actually refer to. While nuclear weapons are often used to symbolize blackmail, that isn't always the case. That is only one kind of nuke. More generally, nukes represent a boom, an explosive event or news story. Boom is commonly used to denote a big moment or happening, something impactful that causes shock. Do you see how a nuclear chain reaction can easily symbolize an important news story? So while a public figure's blackmail detonating can be a boom, it is not the only thing that can. This is why the two nukes dropped on Japan had different designs. One used uranium, and the other plutonium. Only one of these was about blackmail, which was obviously Little Boy, dropped by the Enola Gay. The second nuke dropped, Fat Man, represented a different kind of boom. We'll examine both of these, but let's look into what Little Boy represented first. Little Boy was a blackmail detonation. So, who was the target? News stories, memes, and pop culture events that happen alongside a calm will often reveal the true meaning behind it. Were there any public figures removed from power as Little Boy was dropped? The Dean of the Senate, Hiram Johnson, died the exact same day as the bombing. This headline was run right under the headline for the atomic bomb, giving the event context. He didn't actually die, of course. Faking your death and leaving your seat of power is often what one chooses when presented with the choice between that and having your blackmail detonated publicly. Hiram Johnson was Teddy Roosevelt's choice for vice president. In South Park, Teddy Roosevelt is depicted as the founder of Super Adventure Club, a group of pedophiles that traveled the world to molest native children. Notice how at the time Japan claimed to be fully aware of the true aspects of atomic energy. Senator Johnson was at the head of the fight to stop President FDR from working with the Soviet Union. This ties directly into what the second nuke, Fat Man, represented. With the resistance to partnering with the Soviet Union removed, the Soviet invasion of Manchuria could begin. The very same day that Fat Man was dropped, the Soviets invaded Manchuria, retaking the territory that Japan had gained in China and Korea. In 1945, the magnitude of this boom was enormous. It was an even bigger headline than the atomic bomb. The partnership between Russia and the West is further tied to the history of nuclear weapons. On July 16, 1945, the world's first nuclear bomb was tested, codenamed Trinity. The very next day, the Potsdam Conference took place, a meeting of 3 world powers, the US, the UK, and Russia. The Trinity bomb represented the 3 powers cooperating. This conference was a continuation of the Yalta Conference. The day before the Big Three met at the Yalta Conference, Disney released the three Caballeros. Each character from the movie blatantly ties to one of the world leaders. British attire and a cigar for Winston Churchill, a US Navy outfit for FDR, and red for Joseph Stalin. The movie has themes of spying on pretty girls, and opens with the US getting home movies as a gift, the home movies symbolizing blackmail. So, to recap, a nuclear weapon is a boom, a shocking event. The uranium bomb Little Boy was the detonation of Senator Hiram Johnson's blackmail, removing the resistance for cooperating with the Soviet Union. And the plutonium bomb Fat Man was the Soviet Union then breaking their neutrality treaty with Japan and invading. Nuclear weapons are just one facet of this system of symbolic communication. In my upcoming videos, I will be diving into the truth behind other lies the public has been fed, and there are many of them. If this topic interests you, and you'd like to learn more about comms, subscribe.